Okay, we can clearly not sleep in this wreck of an
Sure.
inn. And the reason for that is that it's not constructed. What is the option to construct? I think Bright Hollow. Yeah, this is what we need to purchase. And we can't right now because the Bailey is in progress. And that'll be finished in a day, in 1 day, 24 hours. Alright. I guess that means 2 days, right? We need to go back to the city and find another companion. So let's do that. I'll spare you until we get there. Okay, so here we are back in the city. Now, my main concern right now is to find another companion. And I don't know where we're going to do that. But there must be somebody in this city. Maybe in the Scrivener's dormitory? Why not a companion in a dormitory?
Well met, friend.
Why, by Whale's eyeless face, you are one short ogre. But why are you green, and how are you getting the ducks to keep flying around you like that? Let me guess, you smoked a lot of white leaf, and or did you get your hands on some snowcat? He claps his hands and laughs. Snowcap, snowcap. So few people know snowcap, much less ogres. He beams at you and nods his head. You're a scrivener? Yes, I am a scrivener. I read books, I write books. I once ate a book, but once but only because it looked like sweet pie, or perhaps it was sweet pie baked to look like a book. Interesting. I'm also a collector of herbs, flowers, plants. I sell them. Mostly I eat them. Show me what you have for sale. Alright, let's buy some stuff. You know what? We cannot afford this right now. I don't think we're going to find any companions here. We'll come back later. I didn't know a scrivener was a writer of books. My English is not superb. Anyway, let's find a companion. Maybe there's a companion in the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. There's a loading screen in the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. But maybe there's a companion too.
I'd wager there are more than a few banned books in here.
That's right, Aloth. Welcome to the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Let's just take a brief look around.
Well met, friend.
Fexa, the woman barely glances up from the tomes on the table as you approach. You're welcome to browse the stacks, but mind that you keep your voice down. This is still a temple after all, and Grimda doesn't tolerate disorder. Looks like a library. Her eyes grow wide and round. That's because it is. Whale is the god of mysteries and answers and encryption and decryption, concealment and revelation. She raises her hands to the row of shelves. Its guidance comes from the understanding of the unknown and protection of hidden knowledge. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries was built to celebrate that. To think there's such a place in the Deerwood. Incredible. I'd love to glimpse the archives. How many secrets must sit upon these shelves? Fascinating. Isn't it? Temples dedicated to Whale tend to hold vast stores of knowledge. We use that knowledge to unravel and preserve the mysteries of the world. Anything else? Farewell. More Scriveners.
Well met, friend.
Grimda. An elderly dwarf surveys the stacks. Her skin looks as tough and wrinkled as a walnut. Despite her stature, she manages to look down her nose at you. You're welcome to look around, but let the priestesses and scriveners continue their search. She shoots the nearest robed figure a withering gaze. Wouldn't do to give them any other excuses. What are they looking for? Maybe I could find it. She sizes you up, stroking her chin. And I could trust you to bring it back, I suppose? She scowls at the robed priest again. You certainly couldn't do worse than this lot, anyway. Thieves made off with an ancient scroll of Whale. They intend to blaspheme by selling that which should remain hidden, a secret of the 100 visions. Her wiry eyebrows arch over her spectacles. The guards caught one of them, but were overzealous in their interrogation. All they could piece together was something about a farmhouse and the road to Deerford. Track the thieves down. I don't care what you do with them, but bring back the scroll. Whale rewards the persistent seeker, and so do I. An ancient scroll of Whale. That's a fair prize. I mean, a worthy task. What else do you need? I had questions about the missing scroll. Tell me what you know about the thieves. Very little, except that they were foolish to believe that they could steal from the god of secrets. That, and they were fleeing to a farmhouse. How should I handle the thieves? However you can. Kill them, rob them, leave them. It makes no difference to me. She waves a hand and smiles grimly. I'll consider it one of Whale's mysteries. What's so special about the scroll? Whale is the god of secrets. If I told you that, I'd cheapen it, wouldn't I? She cackles. It's a parable, the kind that nourishes the inquisitive mind and poisons the foolish. I'll return with the scroll. Alright, we got a quest. Now let's get the hell out of here. Let us proceed toward the main quest.
Have you ever chased a skirt wizard? Or do you merely hide behind them?
Don't pawn your personal problems off on me.
They will use you, cast you off when it suits them, never speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
Party banter, gotta love it. Hopefully there's another companion waiting right outside the temple. That's Crucible Keep. That's where the Knights of the Crucible are. Maybe we can find a companion in there. I know we have a mission in here to get the breastplate back for one of the dudes in that belongs to that group of people.
Gods keep you.
Justice Aldemar. Aldemar gives you an appraising eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you recently arrived yourself. What goes on in Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor, good, that's what we're looking for, as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Cliver's in the back, making plans as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west of the building, along with our master smith Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the Golem if you're the praying type. Looking for something or just knocking off dirt off your boots? That's all. Alright, we might as well complete this quest. Let's just review our journal, who we're looking for exactly. Osric was kicked out of the Crucible Knights by a fellow knight named Panhelm. Worse, his superiors confiscated a breastplate that's been in his family for generations. Osric has asked me to retrieve the breastplate from Panhelm. He believes his rival... Okay, Panhelm. If I can prove Panhelm's forgery, I may have some leverage to get the breastplate back. We need to find Panhelm. Shit. I will be back. Okay, we're back, and this time, well, I saved, and I'm gonna be careful not to steal. Or at least, to save before I steal. We found Panhelm. The young novitiate's armor is recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? How does someone become a knight? We don't just take anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cliver is responsible for initiation, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Was there something else? Does the name Osric sound familiar? He sniffs. If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the Expedition Hall for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, a lot of them. What's the story between you two? Panhelm. Osric has always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. He frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble a dear nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. That history made the knights what they are now. You can't just cast it aside. We've outgrown that past, he waves a shining gauntlet. Sometimes you need to move on. He says your affidavit is a forgery. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down and admires it. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale. If that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armor that was used in the rebellion. He says your affidavit is a forgery. Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. What with his pedigree in the Knights, he folds his arms. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. Enough about Osric. Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally for Deerwooden independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. Let's see what the journal says. Penhelm doesn't appear to be keen on parting with Osric's armor, which he is presently wearing. More leverage is required. Osric believes that Penhelm's affidavit affirming that Penhelm's soul is free from any Adeiran influence is a forgery. He said I could find it somewhere in the Crucible Keep in First Fires. First Fires is the section of the city. Crucible Keep is the castle we're in now. Where are we going to find this shit? This looks to be a place. Close the door. Oh. We found it! Penhelm's affidavit. Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunrid Rowe, does hereby certify that novitiate A.M. Penhelm has been found to have a soul free of any of subversive influences. The scroll is stamped with the seal. Okay, let's take. Bring Penhelm's affidavit to Curran. Penhelm seems to have taken Osric's armor for his own, but I have his affidavit in hand as a possible bargaining chip. Curran, the cipher who signed off on Penhelm's affidavit, works at Hadrit House in Brackenbury. He should know for certain whether or not the affidavit is genuine. Works at Hadrit House in Brackenbury? Where the hell's that?
I don't suppose we could rest a spell.
Let's get out of here. Still looking for a companion. Should be dark out. No? Oh, it's morning.
This would be the temple Merwald spoke of, or what remains of it.
Praise to the exiled queen. May her crown be restored and her justice prevail. Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man in robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Who are you? Lord
Ardwellan Rugford III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Wedika's house of worship. What are you doing?
Worshipping Woodica, the exiled queen and oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
I was told I'd find the Temple of Wodica here.
And so you did. These savage colonists may have burned it down, but worship of the Oathbinder is alive and well. These stairs lead to the main sanctum.
Stairs?
These stairs, of course. The sanctum was always below ground, adjacent to the catacombs, so it wasn't destroyed by the fires.
Tell me where I'd find an entrance to these catacombs.
There are various entrances throughout Defiance Bay, but I dare say the easiest to reach is in Copper Lane. I haven't been to that part of town in ages, but as I recall, it's somewhere near the southern gate.
You know that you're a ghost, right?
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
I'm serious, just look at yourself.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
I'd like to learn more about Wodica.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Wodica watches over them all. Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Wodica is also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
Goodbye. Alright, let's go to the Copper Coronet. Weren't we just there? Oh, Heritage Hill, that's where... Brackenberry. Oh, this is great. Let's change course and go to Brackenberry. I'll spare you. Here we are in Brackenberry. And there's an Animancer right there. And he ignores us.
Hail and well met.
Needin, or Nadine. A woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's fixated on the pages of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death. But we still have lots of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean about what makes them stick? She brushes a stray lock from her forehead. Souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they are firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waidwen's legacy, maybe even conquer death. She scratches behind her ear. That's the theory anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all of the research I need to put it into practice. What do you need? There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pangram. It contains research from Pangram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Elder Archives. Pangram's work is considered to be one of the more daring animancy texts, not something generally circulated among novices, nor easy to get hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, The High Archivist worships whale, which means she has some paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge. And since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict the kinds of information that would be useful to me. Maybe she could be persuaded. You're welcome to try, but you wouldn't be the first. She sighs. Anyway, I should probably get back to my work. Okay. There's a sanitarium. Okay, Rogue Knight. He should be Hadrit House in Brackenbury.
Gods keep you.
The Orlan man is surrounded by books and scrolls. His wiry hair stands nearly on end, and his ears prick up as you approach. You carry whispers, Cadnua, Gilded Veil. Old voices indeed. How did you know? The Orlan grins, revealing a row of dagger-pointed teeth. As a cipher, it's my job to know these things. You carry the whiff of ancients. What else can you tell me? His ears twitch downward, not as much as I would like, unfortunately. My duties for Lady Webb require me to focus my talents elsewhere. He regards a table piled with scrolls. What brings you to Dunrid Row? Show him Penhill's affidavit. Is this affidavit real, signed by you? He holds the page, but seems to stare through the words as if at something woven in the fabric of the paper. Curran bares his pointed teeth. I remember Penhelm, a preening peacock of a man, his mouth dry and hands moist when I told him he was a sole descendant of an Aeduran general, one who'd fought against Hadrit's rebellion. He scans the affidavit. A forgery, and not the first I've seen. He hands it back to you. But I've no time for the knights and their obsessions. Bring this to his commander, Cliver, and show him the seal. He points to the wax stamped by his forged signature. If he compares it with another, he should be able to spot the difference. Alloth's gaze flickers to you. Doom a man for the soul of the gods gave him? Seems rather unfair. It looks as though you could use some help. Curran wags a clawed finger. Not at liberty to discuss my work, unfortunately. Dunrid Row ears only. A civilian would need the confidence of Lady Webb before I could share. What are you so busy with? His small, furry hands gesture expansively at the papers before him. Hollowborn, growing unrest, and the ever-present political intrigues. With so many missing souls, missing persons are the least of our concerns these days. Tell me about your skills. I check for soul connections, looking for lost things, missing things, or troublesome things, particularly where people of power and influence are concerned. I'm a cipher. In Air Glanfath, we were once known as Brishalgwyn, Mind Hunters. Nice title, yes, but it wasn't until the Animancers began working with my kind 40 years ago that we truly understood our power. Now we make some of the best detectives in the world. Tracing souls, we can look at a person and see where they have been, or look at a weapon and see what it has touched it. His nose twitches as he looks at you. Useful for solving crimes, as you can imagine. Farewell. Okay, that's about all the time we have. We're going to wrap up that quest with this affidavit in the next video. See ya.